Hello, folks, and welcome. Great to see some of you here nice and early. We're going to have a lot of fun today, and I appreciate you all coming out and joining us, whether it be live as we are doing this, or maybe you're watching a recording a little later on. Hopefully the goal of this event is just to share some information for those of you that are going to be looking to attend some EarpCons. For those who don't know me, as the little placard says at the bottom, my name is Kevin Batchelder. And I've had the great pleasure of attending many of these cons that have already happened and some new ones that are starting up soon. But as with any convention, be it a EarpCon or a general con, there's always lots of things to learn. So that was the idea of putting this together, was to get some of the con reps here on this first one, get a few other Earpers. There'll be a few joining me after the EarpCon reps get a chance to speak, to just do an open Q&A. We had several of you folks send in some questions, which we can touch on. We've got some other tips, things to go out there. I think one thing I definitely noticed after we started talking about this over the last few months is that there's no way we can cover everything here in this one Hangout event. So we'll probably schedule at least a couple of more in the coming months, since we have a while till the cons actually start. So don't feel like everything has to be covered today. I'm sure some things that'll definitely come out today will be things that'll get you thinking about something else. So that's why I say, you know, here in the fandom, we'll try to do some things to help out the folks who are going to a con for the first time. So we'll wait and see how things kind of roll there. Now, there are going to be tons and tons of new folks going to EarpCons next year for the first time. One thing that definitely came up a lot on Twitter, and I'm mentioning it right now, right from the get-go, to try to put everyone a little more at ease, is you will not be alone in being new to the con or cons in general. So a couple of the very biggest tips I definitely want to put out here right off the bat is realize that these are EarpCons, which means you are going to be surrounded by Earpers. So when it comes to that anxiety or, not knowing what the atmosphere might be like, let me just tell you, having been, as I said, to many of these, it is one of the most unique, wonderful experiences of your life, getting a chance to hang out with Earpers. So that'll help a lot. We'll try to get some structure information on the cons and those details there. But if you go in knowing that, I think that can certainly help you to be more comfortable early on and get the most out of the event. So just some basics there. We'll come back with some other folks, as I mentioned, Earpers answering some questions after the con reps get a chance to talk. And I do want to stress right off the bat, for those who might not be aware, new to the show or the fandom, as many folks have been, each of these EarpCons is independent. There's no corporation, there's no overseeing group that's doing this. These are Earpers who just decided to start a con for fellow Earpers. So they're each independent. These are very hardworking folks. There is an amazing amount of time that goes into doing a con. For someone who only has a slight inside look at some of this, it's amazing the commitment these folks have, the volunteers and everything to make this happen. So do keep that in mind. These are all volunteers, folks doing it for the community. So don't hesitate to ask questions, but do realize it's not like anyone's reporting to a big boss or anything is set across all of the cons. They are all independent. All right. Let's see here, since we got a lot to cover. And I expect this event itself to probably run, I'm going to say ballpark 90 minutes, between the con reps getting about 10 minutes each and then us doing an open Q&A at least today. If you can't hang around for the whole thing, that's okay. This should be recorded and be up on YouTube afterwards, so you can rewatch or catch the parts you might not be able to see today. But for those of you who are here, do appreciate you taking the time on a Saturday to join us, and I hope you do have fun. All right, with that in mind, let me bring on our first set of folks here from Urpalooza.
Need to get the extender.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
How are you doing here?
Can you guys hear us and see us?
I can hear you fine. Seeing is a little pixelated here.
We're good.
And as soon as I say that, I'm bad luck because now you're frozen again.
Really?
Oh, that's not good. Although I live by pixelated, so it could just be.
Well, if nothing else, we can hear you perfectly fine. There we go. Video's a little bit, but it's definitely pixelated.
Okay. Well, we'll just go with it and hopefully that
Yes,
clears
yeah, I
up.
was gonna say.
My name's Allison.
I'm Laura, and I report to Allison. No, I'm
Yeah, we don't have a boss.
I saw the big boss you say?
So Laura, why don't you just tell them a little bit about the event?
So we do Urpalooza. Those who are new to the Wynonna Earp Cons, Urpalooza goes to a different city every year. This year, April 2022, we're going to be in Columbus, Ohio, and previously done St. Louis and Minneapolis. So we try Midwest cities too, so it's the center of the U.S., but try and hit some of the other towns that don't necessarily get all that a convention can bring to the city. So I strongly urge everybody to say right out of the gate, we have plenty of tickets left. We're not sold out. So April 1st through the 3rd of next year, go on to our website. Tickets are still available, and we would love to see everybody there. Just see who it's, but just so you know, we have Tim. Right now we have Kat, Emily, Anna Silk is coming back. She was there at the last Urpalooza, really great, but we're also bringing Palmer. And then we're gonna have Martina, Sarah. I'm really super excited that Charlotte's coming. We got Charlotte Sullivan, so really happy about that. And Noel, we've not had any of the writing staff before at Urpalooza, so we're pretty excited about having Noel on there. So those are the confirmed guests right now. Keep a lookout because there might be more to come. And like I said, tickets are still on sale. So if they go on and come out, because like Kevin said, you're going to be surrounded by Earpers, and there really is nothing better than an EarpCon.
And it's the first event back, so we're just happy that we're going to get to be around Earpers. Like Kevin, I think maybe said it in a different hangout that it's been such a long hiatus for Earpers in general, so being able to be with one again is going to be really special. So we're excited to finally see everyone. But we did have some questions that were submitted. So Laura, you want to start with what we have?
Yeah, someone before, not so much a question, but also I think a little bit of, the internet, and so maybe it might be their first con, and I won't call you out. So nobody feels like their question is going to get called out, but I won't call you out by name, but I will say about what to do if you're feeling all the excitement, or maybe you're feeling overwhelmed about the convention or even at the convention. Totally normal. I'm technically an extrovert, but when I get in huge things, I can be an introvert, and I hide off in the corner sometimes, just scoping everything out. If that's you, do that. Be you. This is EarpCon. It's not a Dragon Con. It's not Lexicon. It's not Comic Con, which scares me even to think about the enormity of the Comic Con. But be yourself, and those Earpers that you met online that are your friends online that are coming as well. Trust me when I say that you're going to have a ton of fun with them, and then you're going to meet other Earpers in line. So just come in day one, what makes you feel comfortable, and when you have your stand out and you get there, follow it for the first day for sure, because that'll also into the convention and ease you into where you want to go, what it looks like, everything else that's going to be there, not just the autos and the photos and the panels, but just be yourself, and then go through your day, and I guarantee you by day 2 you'll be able to go off script and have fun and go see Columbus when you're on a lunch break or whatever, and have fun at when the convention shuts down. So I would say that. And we also do have at Urpalooza last year, it's been so long, but it feels just like last year sometimes. At our last Urpalooza, thanks for laughing, Kevin, I appreciate it. I'm here all night, folks. But at the last Urpalooza, we also had a panel that helped with kind of just finding your zen and being able to find peace in such a big space, which can be overwhelming. So expect stuff like that again too.
Yep, and then we had another question. We have someone traveling from the UK to attend their Conventions, and they were wondering about the event and what to expect. We won't know exact sizes because that's going to depend on my ticket sell. But to give you an idea, past events for us have been anywhere between 600 and 700 people. So if you want to kind of work yourself up to that, that's probably a good way to start. And then this person also asked, do we have a specific Facebook group for attendees so you could get to know people? The answer is yes. We do have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/group/Urpalooza. So if you just search for that, and there's like one question you have to answer to get in, but it's just like a spam question so that we don't let spam in. So just do that. It's not a huge group, but there are definitely people in there so you can get to know them.
Yep. Actually, I've never been in the Facebook group.
You're not even in the Facebook group.
I'm not on Facebook, so that would be why. But I'm on Twitter. So you can always, with Facebook link, I should follow that. It's for Urpalooza. But I don't, sorry, y'all. But you can find me on Twitter, Sutton Toward. And don't ask me what that means because I signed up for it like 8 years ago. I have no idea what that Sutton Toward is, but that's me. Some basic questions that I'm sure all the cons will answer, but it was like, are the lines really long? Is there food on site? Is there vegan options on site? Is there going to be a lot of walking? And what's kind of the age difference? Are there going to be young people there? So yes to all of that. That was it. No, there will be lines. To be sure, this is a convention, autographs, and depending on who you go to, the lines could be longer, the lines could be shorter. So be prepared, but also have fun in the lines. I can't tell you how many people I talk to when I'm in an autograph line, and I have fun, and you don't notice the time because you're just talking to somebody new, and you've met on Twitter and you didn't even know it, and you're like, oh, that's you? Okay, cool. So just have fun with that, but there will be lines. Walking. Yes and no. We're at a convention center this year in Columbus, but we try and keep things as close and localized as possible. So you're not walking from one end of the convention center to the other, but there will be some walking and some standing for sure. And the convention center in Columbus has a food court as well, which has many different options, including vegan. And then the city of Columbus actually is really great with a lot of different options. So if you all go out to eat away from the hotel and the convention center, you'll find plenty of options there as well.
Yeah, and I would just add, the reason we choose the spots that we do is we try to make it close to downtown just because that's walkable for food. So if you're looking for food outside of you do have a food court in the convention center, but if you need or want other options, there are tons of places just blocks away. So you'll be able to walk and not have to go too far. So you won't have to spend too much time outside of the convention center if you're only on a short break. So the next question we had to deal with COVID, and we knew this would come up, so we wanted to address it just a little bit. We do have COVID guidelines coming out. We aren't releasing them quite yet because we've been working diligently with, our subs, our guest agents that we have, and as well as some local. And so we are working on releasing those. We will have guidelines that will come soon. That'll kind of give you a better idea. We just didn't want to prematurely release them with for the event. So those will come. And then someone asked, will the guidelines change if the pandemic improves? And the thing with that is it could improve, it could go worse. That's just kind of on the same line as what I'm saying is we're kind of going with the flow and trying to make the decisions that are best for everyone to stay safe. So things could get better. Just because they get better doesn't mean that we let our guard down. So we're going to have things in place and we're going to have procedures. And things may change. We kind of just have to go on a whim. We kind of have to live in the flow here because we don't really know what April is going to look like. So that's just going to be my note of it. I know that people have a lot of questions about COVID. And so just know that we are working on it. We have guidelines and that keeps buffering. I hope that you can still hear us. But yeah, so the COVID stuff will come. The next question is, what is scheduling like? What if you have a few meet and greets, a few photo ops? Will we be able to attend them all? So for us, and I think most cons, the photo ops and the autographs, a lot of times there's multiple autograph sessions. And then especially for single photo ops, there's multiple photo op sessions. For us, I know for sure, the other cons can also address this, but you will have opportunity on all days, so you can get your schedule, look at our schedule. If you want to do a certain person on Saturday and a certain person on Sunday, you can do that, or you can swap it. There will be multiple opportunities. So I think that it's okay to say you will have some flexibility. But I will say part of being a con and being at a con is also being able to change things if it happens. So I won't sit here and tell you that our schedule will be, airtight, because things do happen. So if we release it and then
Wynonna.
Yeah, we had flu Nona in 2019. Melanie ended up with the flu. So we had to move things on a whim, move some things around. But we appreciated everyone for being really flexible when we had to move meet and greet and when we had to reschedule. I think just when we release our schedule, just take a day, look at what you want to do, schedule it out, build your personal schedule, and then just kind of be flexible, because things may happen. You may decide, you may meet a friend that says, hey, do you want to take a photo op with me? And you may need to deviate from your schedule. So it's just important to be as flexible as you can. And for me, a person who's very type A, very plan, that is hard. I get it. It's very hard to do. But if I can change, you can do.
She does.
So
like Flamsy. I meant maybe F Flamsy, but I saw Flamsy, so I'm going to say Flamsy.
Yep.
Flamsy made lifelong friends with people in Lanes at Con. So did I. I knew, well, Allison and I knew each other before we got to a con, but I met one of my best friends in line at a photo op. And now she's on staff at Urpalooza too. So totally keep yourself open. Leo and Charlene, I expect to see you at Urpalooza.
Yep. And then another question was, what's an estimated date for our extras to go on sale, since you mentioned photo ops? We will have photo ops and meet and greets and Emily's Writers Workshop go on sale. Now, as far as estimated dates, photo ops and the meet and greets will probably go on sale within the end of the year. So sometime within the next months. As far as the workshop goes, we're looking at putting that sale at the beginning of the year. So we will make announcements. I promise we never put anything on sale without making at least a couple weeks in advance notice for you guys, because we don't want people to be surprised and have to spend the money. So we will let you know. And then this person also asked, what are autograph lines like and how much time do you get with the guest? Autograph lines are long because everyone's there to see the same people. So they are going to be long, but like we said, it's fun. You meet people, you talk to them, you spend the time. It'll go quick, we promise. And then how much time do you get with the guest? You probably, in reality, it's really hard to say because it just varies. But in a general sense, an autograph is not a meet and greet. So you're not going to have 5 to 10 minutes to stand there and talk to them. But you will have a minute or two while they're signing your autograph to talk to them, introduce yourself, say thank you, whatever you want to say. If you want to tell them thank you so much for this role, you really impacted my life, whatever it is you want to say to them, you will have time to say it. But you just have to be conscious that there are tons of people in the line behind you also waiting to see the guest. And so you have to be mindful of that and be respectful of the guest's time and the fans' time, because the guests want to see everyone. Conventions, yeah, they come to the convention because they want to meet the fans. And so it's possible to talk to as many possible. We try to keep the line moving. But that's not to say that you don't get time to talk to them and introduce yourself. It's just not a meet and greet. If you want to spend time to actually talk to them, you'll have to look into the meet and greet. That's a little different.
Speaking of time, how are we doing, Kevin?
We're a little over, but very helpful info for sure. All right.
Okay.
Well,
we had a couple more questions we wanted to address, and then we'll be done.
Okay. Rachel, you've never been to con and you love to go sometime. I'm just saying April, springtime in Ohio. I can't imagine a better time. So I'm gonna group a few questions together because I kind of think they work. So somebody asked, can you get hugs from a guest like in years past? So obviously somebody's been to a con, and it's a good way to come up with ideas for photo ops. Two of my favorite things, because I do love hugs. I'm a hugger. And photo ops, if anybody saw a picture in 2019 was Laura's facial expression year. Love those photo ops. Good way to photo ops, look at the show, find your favorite episode, maybe pull something from there to do a photo op of, a pose or some funny thing that you and your friends said.
Reenactment of something.
Reenactment is good, within reason, of course. But also, like, talk to your friends and just bounce ideas off of each other, especially if you're doing a group photo op. I mean, that's how the murder trees came to life, was bouncing funny ideas, and then probably a very late night at Walmart.com. And hugs. Hugs kind of leads into the next question too, of like, will we require masks during photo ops, or will I think people have seen the cons with the plexiglass. So this, I'm going to group all these. In years past, always been guests. That's up to them, right? If they're good with hugs, just like you and I, like if you're good with hugs, I'm totally a hugger. But if you're not good with hugs, I'm not going to come up and hug you because I don't want to get into your personal space. So it will still be up to the guest, whether or not even over the protocols. But masks during photo ops and plexiglass barriers. So I've seen those. I've also seen these pictures where you have. I don't like those. So we're trying very hard not to have plexiglass up during the photo ops. So and you won't have to wear your mask during the photo op.
You will, however, have to wear it probably leading up to the photo op in lines. We're just trying to find.
And our COVID protocols will be coming out soon, but masks while you're waiting in line is one thing, but we want everybody to have fun and enjoy the photo ops, and to do that, you kind of have to see the silly grins and the facial expressions. So masks won't be required during photo ops. And then one final question, if you don't mind, if I answer this one. Okay. Is there handicap seating for panels or early access? Yes. We do have an ADA area, a handicap area, in the panel rooms. And I also want to throw out too, like at Urpalooza, you never have to worry about getting access to a panel, no matter what. You have a ticket to Urpalooza, you're going to get a seat in the panel room. And we try very hard every year to make sure that no matter where you sit in that panel room, it's going to be a good seat.
Yeah. So like a lot of the big cons, if you're not familiar, they sell a large capacity without regard to the size of the panel room. So sometimes if you go to Comic-Con in San Diego, for example, people line up hours and hours and hours before to be sure they get into the rooms for the panel. And you don't have to worry about that at the small cons, especially ours that I know I can speak of. So everyone that has a ticket will have a seat in the panel. We don't oversell, we don't do any of that. So we'll be sure you can know that. And then someone also asked, if you were only able to get general admission tickets, do you have the ability to buy things there, autographs, meet and greets, and access to panels? And we just said everyone will have access to panels.
Yep.
But in terms of additional items, yes, just because you have a general admission ticket, for us, it's the Purgatory Share Pass. It's the lowest tier, but autographs, photo ops, meet and greets are accessible for everyone. You can buy all of those. So don't think that just because you got the general admission that you're not going to have the same experience, because you will have access to all of those.
And by the way, autos are only ever sold at the convention at the tables. So we don't sell, or Urpalooza does not sell ahead of time or on the website. Autographs and selfies are only done at the guest tables. So everybody has a chance to get into those.
Yeah, and Sam and Grigsby just asked, are you able to offer seats with more room for medical equipment and service dog panels? I'll say part of our COVID protocols is going to be a little bit space panel room. So the answer is probably going to be yes. Our chairs are going to be a little more spread out than usual. I know that's been an issue in the past, so we're trying to make things a little more accessible. And so to answer your question, yes, we're hoping to have things a little more spread out to give a little bit more room. And then the last question we have, Kevin, is for those who are current ticket holders but don't want to or can't travel due to the pandemic, are they going to be forced to sell their ticket for the 2022 con, or are they going to be given the opportunity to transfer their ticket to future convention? I can only speak for us. So as Urpalooza, if you get now that has been purchased in 2020 or yesterday to be used for the event in April of 2022. No tickets that we have currently are going to be transferred over. That's just a decision that we've made. We want a clean slate. We're not going to let people transfer over after this event is over. So if you don't want to come, you can let us know. We will help. We will whatever we can.
Yeah.
We'll get it out. We'll facilitate the transfer, but the ticket won't roll over to any future events.
And real quick, I love the little moniker Pure BS 81 of that. B, how many chicken kicker photos will there be? Please don't bring real chickens. But I want to see a lot of chicken kicker photos.
Okay.
Yep. If anybody has any other questions, you can ask us real quick before Kevin kicks us off.
Do I hear the music playing?
The Grammy music has been.
Yes, just to get everybody on.
Kevin, do you have anything?
No, that was, we really appreciate that. This is the kind of stuff that's going to be very helpful. So appreciate that very much, folks. All righty. Thank you.
Oh,
And
sure.
as with,
As always,
as always, reach out
our
on
Twitter
social media.
DMs and emails. Yeah, reach out to us if you have any questions, and we promise to answer.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
All right. Thanks,
right.
Kevin. Thanks, everybody.
Great to see you. All right. See you soon. All right. We're already rolling lots of great info here. Let's see. Next, let us bring on folks from Earp Expo. Hello.
Hi, can you see me and hear me?
See you and hear you. Yes.
right.
Welcome.
Perfect. Thank you for having me on.
You are very welcome.
I am Kristen. I am one of the organizers of Earp Expo. So our event is in New Orleans, at the Hyatt Regency, right next to the Superdome, if anybody's a sports fan. May 27th to 29th, 2022. I think that's Memorial Day weekend, actually. So we have a lineup that is not finalized. I don't have any spoilers today, but hopefully we'll have something soon to give you guys. But we have Mel, Emily, Tamara, Dana Christina, who plays Chrissy Nedley, Greg Lawson, Varun Saranga, I broke Greg twice, Zoe Palmer, Kat Burrell, Danny Kind, joining us in New Orleans this year. Like I said, some other guests, TBD. And we are actually sold out at the moment for tickets, though we plan on, once we evaluate COVID situation in the city of New Orleans, potentially adding some day passes. So if you're looking for a ticket to Expo and you can't find anything on Twitter or our app, then just keep an eye out for all of our social media, because we should have some announcements on that soon. And speaking of COVID, one thing that I want to mention, because we will be updating our COVID policies very soon, we're going to require a COVID vaccination, proof of vaccination, when you pick up your badge at the convention, or negative COVID test or a reasonable accommodation. Unfortunately, like, the COVID's not going away, and we recognize that. And not only do we want to make sure that everybody's safe at our convention, just because we're Earpers, we don't want anybody getting sick or worse. We also have to follow the mandates in the city of New Orleans, which are pretty strict right now. Unfortunately, there was a large uptake in the state of Louisiana. So we're going to require that as a convention, but also the city of New Orleans requires that. So if you plan on coming to the convention for, the Earp, but also to do a little bit of tourism, which I highly recommend, because New Orleans is great for food and entertainment and lots of other things. You're also required to have it to go out and about in the city. The great thing about going second is that our friends at Urpalooza answered the majority of the questions, and most of which my answers would have been the same. Good thing about EarpCons, at least in North America, is they're basically structured the same. So the same kind of things apply. So it just makes my job easier. So thank you guys for that. All right, let me see some of these questions. All right. Ideas for photo ops. I'm the worst one to ask that because I always never know. And I'm always just like, eh. So I have a lot of photo ops with the Earp guests. They're just like, they just get along with it. The great thing about the cast is if you don't have anything, a lot of times they'll just be like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. They're really good at like doing things like in the moment. And then, okay, hugs. Yeah, hugs and time. same as Urpalooza said, 1 to 2 minutes. Just so there's going to be a lot of people there. We have generally the same capacity, 600 to 700 people. And we want everybody to get an opportunity to meet the guests, to make it fair for everyone, especially people that haven't had a chance to see the guests before. We're also actually playing with a system. I don't know if anybody's ever been. You mentioned these large comic conventions like Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con, where they have a system where you in the morning you go and you scan this like QR code and it puts you in line. And then you come back when your panel comes if you get in and, you know, sit like that. So we're trying to play with something with that for autographs. So people can scan and get a place in line and not have to necessarily stand in line for hours and hours or however long we set the limit for. And that not only gives people an opportunity to, you know, social distance and, you know, protect themselves, but also it gives the opportunity to check out more things just at the convention and not, you know, stuck in lines entirely, or like check the vendors or even in the city. So we're right downtown and there's a lot of things to explore, restaurants, entertainment venues, everything. New Orleans is a fun place to be. I'll leave it at that. Okay, let's see. How are panels scheduled and do any overlap? Well, lucky for you all, I'm the one that makes the schedule, and it's why I have gray hair. So all the guests, all the panels that have any of our special cast member guests, they're not going to overlap. So how our event space is set up is we have a main panel room, and then we have some breakout rooms for smaller panels. So any panel that has an Earp guest will be in our main panel room. And obviously we can't have two panels going at the same time in that main room. So none of those panels would overlap. In terms of smaller panels or the fan panels, there is a possibility that those would overlap, just because we don't need the large space for it. And we have the opportunity for more programming. So if somebody is interested in like the fan fiction panel, for example, they can go to that, but there's another somebody else is not necessarily interested in the fan fiction, but want to go and talk about representation, or go to a panel about representation in media or something along those lines. So, very long-winded way of saying cast panels will not overlap. Okay, masks, yeah. So, mask will be required at the convention. Standing in line, walking around the event space. For photo ops, the plexiglass and the mask will be at the discretion of whatever guest is taking the photo op. We want everybody to have the most enjoyable experience possible and memorable experience possible. So if we can get around the photo op with the mask, we'll have plexiglass. There will be some sort of safety procedure or protocol in place. And a lot of what you've seen coming out of these conventions goes for autographs as well. The plexiglass in front of the tables or in between the cast members. But again, that will be at the discretion of the guests. But masks will be required in line in the event space. Oh, okay. And then I think this is the last one that I see on here, the accessibility. So we absolutely loved our venue in 2019. It's been 2 years, I guess, almost 3. Geez. They were great. Unfortunately, space was very tight. So that's one of the reasons why we went to the Hyatt. Fast forward in the pandemic and everything, that we have a lot of space at this new location, and it's all in one area, so things are easy to get to and from. But also, even though things are like close, since there's more space, we can still spread things out. So in our panel room, we'll have distancing for COVID, but also more space for accessibility. Because I know we had put out a survey at the end of our convention last year, and that was a lot of the feedback that we got. Just it wasn't as accessible as it could have been. And a lot of that was just the physical demands of the building that we were in. So we really looked at that before the pandemic, and moved to the bigger space so we can accommodate wheelchairs better and service animals, what have you, any sort of medical equipment that needs to be moved around the event space. And I think that's all I have. Does anybody else have any questions?
One of the items that was posted in the chat was what the plan would be as far as panel recordings. Will they be posted after the con?
Yes. So our plan now is to do the same thing that we did last year. So recording all the panels and posting them on our YouTube page, I think is where we have them at the end of the convention. And that goes for the cast panels and I believe the like the fan-led panels as well.
Very good. One other question to put you on the spot, since it just came up while you were speaking, but it applies to all the cons, is are people of all ages welcome, like teenagers along with their moms?
Oh, absolutely. The thing about this fandom just in general is it's so welcoming, no matter your age or your background or, you know, gender identity, sexual orientation, it doesn't matter. Everybody's welcome. Everybody will make you feel like you're part of the family. And in addition to that, there will be events not only for adults. There will be other things that younger people can, you know, partake in too. And even around the city of New Orleans, there's so much to do and see. I can assure anybody, no matter how old they are, that they will have a good time.
Very good. Awesome. Oh, we greatly appreciate it very much, Kristen. Thank you.
Guys.
All right. And just like with Urpalooza and all the cons, folks, remember you can reach out directly to any of these cons via social media or their websites, their email addresses, contact forms too.
Yep. info@earpexpo.org is our general inbox for questions, or you can reach out Twitter, DM, Facebook, whatever works.
Excellent. All right. Thank you again very much. Take care. All right. We are rolling. We are rolling. All right.
Hello.
Hello. I think I have everyone from Earp Division Expo. Let me know if I don't. Buffalo, you are muted. All right, there we go. Welcome, welcome.
Hi. We're missing our fearless leader, who is notoriously caught in California traffic. So it's up to Allie
Sounds
and I.
very on brand. Well, we know you can cover it.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. So now you all get to meet our artist in her residence. Allie over here is responsible for all of our nifty animations and stencils and artwork, and she's been tirelessly keeping us entertained with our short videos and our announcement stuff and all that kind of stuff. So it's been a lot of fun adding that sort of life to postings and messages and announcements and all that kind of stuff. So being third, you know, pressure's on to be wonderful and entertaining and the wow factor, but informationally speaking, we can deal you know, the same thing with the COVID protocols. We're going to skim right over that because California, whatever California says, that's what we're going to require. As of right now, things are a little loosey-goosey, so we'll but ever changing, as with every other state except for Florida. So we'll keep an eye on that before we make any grand pronouncements about how we're going to do things. I don't foresee COVID disappearing, you know, so hopefully we won't need things like plexiglass barriers, but certainly if it's, you know, it's October. I don't know what it's going to look like come June. So I can't say one thing for certain. I can't say, you know, we're going to require this or right now. It's just early for that. So we don't want to anybody with that kind of stuff. Shanna saw a need, you know, a West Coast need for a convention. So where better than Anaheim, home of Disney and sort of the historical parts of Southern California. So she, recruited us from around the world, I guess you could say. There's a couple over in the UK. There's me over here on the East Coast. We got 2 East Coasters, Shannon on the West Coast. So we're spread out all over the place, putting this thing together. And we've got 3 packed days. I can't stress that enough. We have packed days, whether it's the usuals, the autographs, the photographs, the panels, we've got, we're kind of the goofs around here. So we've got games and we've got puzzles and we've got other stuff. Our cocktail hour sold out. Our brunches are selling out. So there had to be other stuff for us to fill space for people who didn't, elbow somebody in the face to get in line first to get those tickets. So, we've got stuff. We're going to do an Earper meet and greet. We're going to do, we're going to play some games. I don't want to give too much away, but the location of this hotel is just so cool. It backs right up to the Anaheim Garden Walk. The Anaheim Garden Walk has a House of Blues. It's got an escape room. It's got a little bowling alley. It's got restaurants. It's got a cheesecake factory. It's got a Bubba Gump shrimp. It's got a brewery. It's got a magic show. And so there's so much to do. Like walk out of the back of the hotel onto the garden.
You will never be bored. Never be bored.
Not for a minute.
No.
Not for a minute. And then I believe outside of our purview, there's a bunch of folks who are throwing together an Earper takeover of Disney on Monday for people that want to stick around. We were talking a couple of days ago about when should people come in? Should they come in on Thursday and leave on Sunday? Should they come in on, Friday and leave on Monday? We're going to pack your days. So, you know what? I'm not really sure about running. I'll circle back to that. So we're going to pack Friday. We've got panels. Saturday, we've got panels. Sunday, we've got panels. Friday, we've got activities. Saturday, we've got activities. Sunday, we've got activities. So we are packing the days. And, if you could slip in Thursday around dinner time, and we're going to do an Earper meet and greet and that kind of stuff. So there'll be stuff if you want to get there early. There's some Earpers planning a taco night. I mean, there's just, aside from the Earp stuff, which we could tell you, there's going to be about. Well, yeah, but it's an EarpCon, so of course we're going to have that stuff. But we don't want anybody to worry about being bored or being lonely. There
is a very nice rooftop terrace bar. Very nice for Earper meeting. We should take up.
Yeah, and I think I agree. We absolutely should. You could buy cabanas. Mm-hmm. So if we just pack as many people into one cabana as we can, the hotel is gorgeous. I think I'm going to dress better if I intend to. Yeah, brand new, state of the art. Their internet's phenomenal. Their Wi-Fi, all of the electronics and all of the things that make us connect with one another have been taken care of right out of the gate. So they didn't have to upgrade anything in order to accommodate. So we may have some fancy schmancy kind of stuff insofar as management issues. Ellie, I think you've been to a couple more cons than I have. What's the biggest concern that you've seen among people you've talked to before going to a con?
I think some people just get a bit nervous meeting guests. But as everybody knows, the Earp cast are lovely people and will always put you at ease. No, there's nothing to worry about in that respect. And yeah, at the Earper Cabana, exactly. We shall be singing.
Oh God!
And we might wear snazzy pants and maybe a nice
No
kiddie
snazzy
jumper, which has been
snazzy
it's been suggested.
pants. Oh, bless.
We-
Earpers are nothing if not helpful with the suggestions we have found.
They're very
Um,
helpful.
Somebody said one of the questions that we got specifically was, is it worthwhile to go to a con for Emily and Kat when they don't really know the other actors?
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, you don't have to know them. And I mean, I'm as cynical as they come about a lot of things. You know, I'm from Buffalo. We're just blue collar, downtrodden. We look at the dark side of everything. But God bless, this has been such a family type thing. You know, when people talk about the Earp family, you're not kidding. They're not kidding. It's kind of like Cheers, where everybody knows your name, and the guests aren't different. They don't like speed through the lobby trying to avoid people. They're not like, no picture. It isn't like that. So even if you don't know the cast now, you absolutely will come to know them and they're all lunatics. So they've all got a great sense of humor. There's always something that you're like, oh my God, when they talk, you know, they're always entertaining to the nth degree, whether you're that involved with each of them or not, I find anyway.
Exactly, Anne. It is part of the fun. Meeting new people, making friends, having fun at the Earper Cabana.
Oh, I can see it already. God. Stay tuned for Ellie's next bit of artwork. You know, people with their pants up to their boobs, you know.
This is Earpers.
Yeah.
We take everything to the extremes.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's our stuff. I didn't really flip through. Go ahead, Ellie.
No, I was just going to say, just in case people didn't know our guests so far, we've got Kat, Greg, Varun, Danny, Tamara, Kate, Megan Heffernan, Michael Eklund, Zoe Palmer, our fearless leader, Emily Andras, Natalie Krill, and also Laura Innes is joining us as well, and along with Emmy, and more to be added, maybe.
I'll come up with some painful puzzle. You know, we'll tease you for a while. We'll make you want to pull your hair out, or you know. But yeah, I mean, we got the OGs. You know, we got some of the old folks who season 1 folks. We got. I mean, it's so cool. I mean, again, cynicism at every turn, but this is cool. I'm digging it. I'm digging it even from it. The only thing that I'm sorry about is that I'm not an outsider, because I would like to. There's stuff that I'm like, I want to play. So that's what we're bringing to the table, is California sunshine, you know, California experience, the palm trees, the garden walk, the Disney, there's a billion new breweries a couple miles away. There's some history. There's the Anaheim packing. I mean, there's a bunch of videos somewhere in our stuff from when I went last February, and I'll be getting out there again to do some more of those and show you maybe around the hotel, because the hotel hadn't been finished when I was out there. So, you know, show you a few things and clown around a bit. And, you know, we're running a tight ship, but we are sort of clowny from time to time. So
We are the ideal location if you want to incorporate an EarpCon into your summer vacation.
this is true. This is true.
Fantastic. Well, sounds like a ton of fun coming, and you folks are still working it. So,
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
We are the new kids on the block, so we wanted to come in with a bang, and we
Mhm.
wanted to, elbow our way into the annals of Earp history.
Oh, that's great stuff. We appreciate you folks coming on to share all of it too.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, our pleasure. Our pleasure. All right. We hope you take care.
You too.
Yeah, you
All
too.
right. Thanks again.
Thanks.
All right, folks. It's building up, huh? Look at all this cool stuff coming, and we get even more here. Let's get our next set of folks on. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Ah. Hi, how's it going? We're Liz
Excellent.
and Joe from Earp Fest, happening next year in Scotland. We have our own BSL sign, Earp Fest, and I don't know why, because of the way this has moved, you can't actually see me anymore. We just wanted to address a few of the questions that we've been having. One main question that we had is about our lineup. Yes, we did have a few less than some of the other cons. But as you saw tonight, we announced Martina. We also have Kat, Laura, Kate, and some more on the horizon, which is going to be quite exciting for us. We are in Glasgow, and to address some of the other questions that we had, just to begin with, we do have quite an experienced team in terms of disability access. Some of our team work at Anfield in the Disabled Stewards. Joe's one of them. And we have sign language interpreter, which you may have seen on our virtual con last year. She's joining us again. We also have a stairs-free convention space. So we chose our hotel specifically for that reason. We have the Waverley Suite, nice name, and the Clyde Suite and the Queen Elizabeth Suite and a couple of other rooms. We have our own bar and everything all in the stair-free convention space. And we are in Glasgow, downtown, about a 30-minute ride from the airport, not far from the train station at all. We're fully accessible. We have cards for all of our attendees with disabilities or health conditions that may require special provisions. All you need to do is get in contact with us. We'll issue with a card with your agreed provisions, so you don't have to keep explaining or divulging personal information to every staff member you see. Those provisions will be met for you, and also yes, you can buy a ticket to an EarpCon, which is kind of the same thing. Yeah, we also know about the sunflower lanyards here in the UK. We have sunflower lanyards for hidden disabilities, and our staff are all fully trained to do that. We have a dedicated emergency phone line for all folks, because we know a lot of folks will be visiting from out of town. And if it's your first trip to Glasgow, oh, behold the history and wonder that is Glasgow City, the dear old green as it's known. We have parks and history and recreation. We have movie sets from some of the great movies. So we have TV show sets not far from us. If you watched Kingdom or Outlander, a lot of the filming locations for that are not far from our hotel. If you're a Harry Potter fan, the Hogwarts Express train with that big bridge, that's just up north, and you can take a ride on that train. We also have some of the locations for the filming of Harry Potter. There's a variety of different things in Glasgow City. So you can make it part of your summer holiday as well if you're looking for a bit more history and a bit more of an excellent time. Because if you have never been to Glasgow or never met a Glaswegian, now is the time, friends. Now is the time. So yeah, and about our con itself, we hosted Earp Fest Lockdown Edition last year, our virtual con. As you can see, we are big fans of the game show. Danny Kine's game show being one that did end up going, amazing. I was just say it's amazing. So we're really looking forward to seeing folks over here in Glasgow. And Jo wants to talk to you about the reticketing and a couple of other things, so I'll let her talk.
First off, I'll just apologise for the accent for people who might not even understand what a Liverpool accent sounds like. This is it. We don't all talk like the Beatles, unfortunately, but this is what it gets. Liz will do her best to interpret anything that gets misunderstood. In terms of our tickets, at the moment, we have our top 2 tier tickets are sold out. We still have availability on our bottom 2 tier tickets, but we are on hold with our sales for now, as we are trying to increase the possibility for those Earpers who can no longer make our convention and resell their tickets. We are doing our best to obviously try and facilitate their resales before we think of any new sales for our own tickets. We have a list of those resale tickets at the minute on our website at earpfest.com on the tickets, and each person who has a ticket that is listed on there has a contact little button next to their name. Just click on it and it'll send you the contact details to get in touch with that person. All those tickets that are on the website have been verified as genuine tickets. If you have any trouble, difficulty trying to contact one of the supporters, one of the sellers that are reselling the tickets, just give us an email at info@earpfest.com and we will try and contact them for you, just to see if the ticket is still available from their end. So when we do go back onto selling our entry tickets, we will only have the bottom 2 tier tickets available. So if anybody is selling tickets on our website, probably get them now, because there's not a whole lot of availability when we do come back to resale our entry tickets, because we're probably, I'd say, about 65% sold out at this point.
Yeah. So we've done well with our sales, and obviously our folks have been waiting quite a while to come see us in Glasgow. So we're really excited to welcome everyone. One of the other questions and tips and tricks that people have is about, like, what do I do? How do I get to these strange and wonderful, weird places? So if you have transport concerns, previously when we were running in 2020, I used to regularly tweet updates regarding different transport services, and we'll be doing that again. And if you are someone that is coming from North America, you may not realize that Edinburgh and Glasgow are a bit closer together than you think, and you can actually arrive at Glasgow or Edinburgh. Edinburgh is about an hour's journey from their airport to our hotel. And there are regular buses and trains that do that. So if your city has a cheaper provider or a direct provider to Edinburgh, that's okay too. Manchester's about, I think that was 3 hours, and Liverpool Airport's about 4. So any of those things, you can let us know. There's also a fast train from London up to Glasgow, and it runs at about 4.5 hours for that journey. If you are coming into London, if you find that you are already in the UK, already on your European adventure. So I'm from Australia, and so I realize that some people think there are vast differences. In the UK, you can travel from the top to the bottom by car in like 11.5 hours. So nowhere is too far away. So we're looking forward to welcoming folks there. In terms of tips and tricks for new time convention goers, you are never alone at an Earper convention. I have worked at the last couple of Acons, and some of our other folks have worked at other conventions as well. I actually met my current partner at a Earp convention, and I met Jojo through Earps and stuff. So it's awesome. You are never alone. You walk in the door, you spend about 5 minutes, and you will find what you truly believe is the person that you were born somehow at the same time, and you enjoy the same things, and they're the most amazing person in the universe, and then you'll meet 600 more of them. So you will have an awesome time at an Earp convention. If you do have any anxiety related issues or issues to do with social situations, please make yourself known to our staff. We're quite happy to facilitate some introductions with some like-minded folks, because we know a lot of our fans from different conventions, because we are from all over the world. So we're quite happy to introduce you. And the family is great, no matter which of our conventions you go to, because we do know the folks that run pretty much all the others that are on tonight, and we think they're awesome and fabulous. No matter which one you go to, you'll have an awesome time, and hopefully you'll make friends for life, because I know I have, and it changed my life. I know that Joe has made friends for life. I hope so, because I'm going up to a house in a few weeks. But yeah, so you should make friends for life. It's really good. When you get to a convention, it's also really important to stay healthy and safe. So what we do in our scheduling and what we do with our staff is we try and maintain sort of that healthy standpoint of things. So we'll be encouraging you to hydrate. I don't know if you've seen me at Acon walking around with big jugs of water, encouraging people to hydrate. We encourage people to hydrate, we encourage people to eat, and we encourage people to rest when they need to rest. If you find yourself in a situation where you are struggling, with fatigue or with health situations, please see our staff as well. As with pretty much all of the conventions, we have a fairly good knowledge of the local area, and we can also get you seen by physicians or doctors or whatever. In the UK, we have the NHS. So if you're a British citizen or from the UK or here on a certain type of visa, you'll get free healthcare. But emergency healthcare is free at the point of service. But please make sure you have good health insurance. If you're coming from the European Union due to Brexit, you'll need to bring your European healthcare card, and also make sure that your health is taken care of. So we really encourage you to come and take care of yourself. But if you do find yourself in any trouble, I know that there are staff at every single one of these conventions that are so willing and so able to look after you. So please don't struggle if you do find yourself in a position where you're not feeling very well, because we would hate for any of our Earp fam to not enjoy their convention with us. I don't know if we've got any questions in the bottom bit. I don't know. No, it doesn't look like it. We do have left luggage at our hotel. We have a hotel link coming out, don't we, too, Joe, for discounted prices link on our rooms. Yeah,
the room link will be available next week. We've just received it this weekend. So all that information, like within the next 2 to 3 weeks, there's going to be a lot of information coming out on our social medias about upcoming events, more information on questions that people are asking frequently. We're trying to go and tackle all of those. But yeah, the next few weeks, there's going to be a lot of information, a lot of exciting information, as well as the boring FAQs.
There's some proper gay panic.
That's me at every convention. So every convention I've ever attended, that's my face pretty much.
To be fair, if you're ever worried about embarrassing yourself, Joe did go headfirst into a table in front of Cat Burrell. So
for those who are at Lexicon UK,
we've done it.
I did my own stunts.
Yes. And Joe has got some of the primo, absolutely wonderful photo ops. We are having for our photo ops, we're also having a props table, just to reduce what people have to carry. We're making sure that we have some props there. We have managed to purchase one of the super soakers for the kombucha obligatory scene. So we've got all that sort of stuff. So if you do forget or you can't pack it because you are coming from North America, we will have some props available for you. And if we can help you in any way, please let us know. The other thing we would say
is don't request chickens.
No. We might dress Joe up as a chicken. And we'll just dress you up as a chicken, because she has dressed as Calamity Jane before, which was also excellent. So if you are, as you can imagine, our cast is all coming from North America. So one other thing that we might say that is also reiterated with some of the other conventions is, if you are bringing things to give, please think about bringing something like a letter, because we know that the cast all read the letters and they love them a lot. But if you bring something really big, it's really hard for them to get it back to Canada. Also, if they're crossing the border, there's customs and stuff, and some people don't always think of that. So if you're coming to our convention, and I'm sure some of the others will probably say the same thing, if you're bringing gifts, please make sure that they are small or letters. The cast have routinely said they love to have letters. If you bring something massive, it may be unfortunate that although the cast members will be able to take it, they may not be able to take it back with them because of customs or because of baggage limits, etc. So yeah, we always suggest letters are great because I personally have seen the cast sitting down and reading those letters, and they do truly, truly love them. In terms of our COVID protocols, we will be doing what the Scottish government, at the very minimum, requires of us. And depending on the situation at the time, because we're in July next year, we will enhance those procedures if we feel they're not too intrusive into the experience of the fans. We will ask that anyone obviously trying to attend the convention with COVID symptoms or who should be in a quarantine, please don't come. Please let us know beforehand that you've got a problem, okay? Because obviously we can't accept you into the convention if we know that you've got symptoms or that you are in one of our mandatory quarantines, because the government does actually track those quarantines currently. Whether or not they'll still be in place during our convention, we don't know. We want to keep everybody safe, and we want to try not to intrude on your experience. Ours is one of the smaller conventions. I think we have slightly less than most other folks in our space, and we are trying to keep some social distancing in place. We'll have gender neutral toilets as well for those. I forgot to mention that as well. We'll have gender neutral toilets as well, so that nobody feels like they have to make that choice, which is something that we are quite big advocates of. We have people on our team who have disabilities. We have people on our team who are gender diverse, gender fluid, or non-binary. We also have trans members. We have straight, we have gay, we have pan, we have all sorts of folks on our team. So they will always be there. We haven't actually decided on that just yet, because we want to make sure with the vaccines, because there's more vaccines coming out, the proof of vax situation will be dependent upon the travel guidelines as well. So we don't really want to make an absolute stance right now in terms of proof of vax. If that is what the government guidelines are, of course, we'll have to abide by that. We will be having some COVID protocols in place, but of course, we don't want to say now exactly what they're going to be until we get closer to the convention and the government guidelines are in place, because we don't want to give people a misinformation. Okay, it's really important to us that as many people attend as possible, and as many people attend that is safe to attend. Over here in the UK, for those of you who are from North America, we have instant 30-minute lateral flow testing. And I've been stockpiling that because I am in education. And so we have a load of different options that aren't necessarily available in North America. So we have, so we can lateral flow on site if we need to. We can accept COVID vaccination cards. We can do all that sort of stuff. And we just want to make sure that the vaccines that are being given in other countries, and we are going to be suitable for vaccination cards and stuff like that. We are aware that the majority of our fans will come from countries that are predominantly white, vaccinated, that sort of thing. And that's a real privilege for us. But actually, we do have some fans coming from countries where the vaccination programs run slightly differently. And what we don't want to do is to disadvantage those fans until we find out exactly what protocols we need to put in place and what is the safest at the time that we're having the convention.
Very good. Well, greatly appreciate all the information and insights from you folks. Appreciate it. And always available, as we said, follow-up questions, folks. Don't hesitate to reach out to these people.
Yeah, you can reach us at Twitter or Facebook. So Twitter or Facebook for our deaf and hard of hearing folks. We answer as best we can. We also have set up different things for when you're on site in terms of being able to communicate with other fans. And just before people start to travel and make their travel plans, last time, we'll start promoting different groups for, possibility of catching a lift or traveling with if you're unsure. But again, if you're unsure of how to get to us, that is something that we can help you with. So please get in contact with us.
All right.
And we'd like to say thank you to all our Earp Fam Con cousins out there that we saw tonight. We have missed you.
Yes.
Beautiful people. And Kevin, you're looking gorgeous, son.
Oh, well, thank you.
Work
Thank
it.
you. Yes. Nothing like seeing Earper faces. I know.
I
This is a lot
know
of fun.
it's wonderful. And now we get to see Acon, don't we? Yay! Bye, Kevin.
Goodbye. Thank you very much, folks.
Love you, Earpers. Bye.
Thanks again. All right. Let's see. Here we go.
Good. Hey, Kevin.
Hello. I
How are
understand
you?
Bonnie had some connectivity issues, so she may, if she shows up, I'll add her in.
She says she's trying to get back in right now. She just had to reset her router.
Okay. All right, then we'll give her up. Look. How is that for timing? Perfect timing.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello.
All right.
All right. I'm glad that kind of worked-ish.
Absolutely.
Thanks for letting me back in. Hi, folks. My name is Bonnie. Pronouns they, them, she, her. I'm calling in from the unceded territory of the Stola Nation, people here on the west coast side of Turtle Island. I am one of the organizers of Acon Canada, representing West Coast, while Megan and Kaylee are on the East Coast. So I'm going to toss it to them.
Hey, guys. So I am Megan. Pronouns are she, her. I am 1/3 of our team. Kaylee and I. So Kaylee is my spouse, also one of our team members who does not like to be on camera. They are here. Her pronouns are she, her. And we are based an hour west of Toronto, so closer to the convention center. We are certainly sort of excited to, get this going. I'm going to introduce the con. So we are from Acon Canada. We are the only Canadian Earp con, direct Earp con, or dedicated Earp con. This would be our 4th year, I believe. Third year.
2020 kind of got,
brutal. So we are also a nonprofit organization. So we are a registered nonprofit. We donate all the proceeds from our convention. We have donated, I think it's about $55,000 now from the previous conventions. News for this year, great news. I think the biggest thing is we have moved locations. We have heard the feedback over and over again. We outgrew the hotel that we have been at for the last 2, which is a great problem to have. And we are moving downtown Toronto, which I think everybody is excited about. In terms of, I'm going to try and keep it succinct. So in terms of who do we have at the con this year? We have the writers, we have Mel, we have Kat, we have Tim, we have Emily, we have Dom, we have Justin, Chantel Riley, Michael Eklund, Martina, Tamara, Raissa. So we have Constance Clutie, Varun, Danny, Kate, and Natalie. So full roster, as many as we could get. Some of the new things to talk about. One of the questions that came up earlier is it family friendly? We were talking a bit, found some information actually from one of our volunteer interviews, which was a beautiful thing. And what we're going to do this year, this is new. We're going to try and do a P flag or of sorts. We learned that there's a lot of parents out there that come to these conventions with their people, with their kids, and they're there to support, and it's such a beautiful thing to see. But there's a lot of information, that they don't have other people to talk to and ask their questions to, and friends going through the same things they're going through with their kids, and how to support or any of those questions. So we're going to do a coffee hour this year where we can actually have those parents come together. Anybody who wants to be a support, be a part of that conversation. So, safe space to meet like-minded people going through the same stuff and make friends that, maybe it's not Earp related, but Earp brings people together. And so that's sort of the beautiful part of this. So we're going to do that. And I think one of the other things before we go on to some of the questions will be, we are also partnered with Start the Wave this year. So we are committed to, making sure we are an eco-friendly con. There will be a super accessible con as well. The hotel has certainly helped with our efforts in that, and Bonnie's going to chat about that a little bit more. But the Start the Wave team will be in attendance. They'll have a booth. They will have a panel. So It'll be some great information to share and sort of take in at the con, again, outside of Earp stuff. But I think Bonnie and I are going to split some of the questions. So B, do you want to maybe go next and tackle some of those things?
Sure, I can. So a lot of folks were asking questions specifically pertaining to the impacts of COVID and how we're going to keep folks safe. We recently rolled out with our COVID safety protocol that kind of covers that masks will be mandated this year for Acon Canada. We're also making vaccines mandated as well, with exceptions to medical concerns. And so with that, if you fall into that category, please reach out to us. We're looking into, possibly, having plexiglass and such, similar to the other cons. We're hoping to, allow the convention to be as close to similar to the previous experiences you've had. However, we're going to be abiding by the Canadian government and Ontario government safety protocols. I know that there's going to be folks flying in from out of Canada or driving over from the States. There's a lot of changes going on, and we're going to refer you kind of back to the Canadian government and what their rules are in terms of whether or not you can come in with what kind of vaccines and how long you have to quarantine for. Because we unfortunately, as much as we'd like to have, some control over that, we don't. And then in terms of, Megs, I kind of just went.
Yeah, no, you're good. So so everybody knows, Kaylee's sitting right here. Decided not to be on camera, so I'm getting prompts, which is great. So how many attendees? So we're guessing we're going to have roughly 700 attendees. We certainly have the capacity for it again at the new hotel. Our first wave of tickets is sold out. We do have a second wave of tickets coming, currently planned for early 2022. To talk about some of the add-ons questions. Right now, we're figuring those add-ons will come out shortly after the second wave, probably early spring, but we are intending on having the full con schedule completed before those add-ons are put up for sale, so that there are less concerns about overbooking, panel versus autograph or photo op, whatever the case may be, so that you can plan your time accordingly. Around auto lines for Acon, because that has been something in the past that has been a struggle. Again, the new venue certainly has a larger space, which is great. There are definitely plans to make it a lot more organized, dedicated lines per person, which would be great. Around the timing, we are going to be very intentional with the amount of tickets we sell per person, per talent, per cast member, to ensure that there will be the right number of tickets. We want everybody, when you're up there, to have the amount of time that the talent has said they would like, right? So each person that's there, they each take a different amount of time with each person. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure we don't oversell, and so that you're not being rushed and they're not being rushed, and we're certainly not asking them to work later. So that's we want to try and respect everybody's boundaries. Around masks and plexiglass and hugs, I think everybody sort of added that already. Bonnie alluded to our COVID guidelines, and we're just going to have to keep an eye on it. We don't know enough to give you a solid answer right now, and I think that's the right thing to do, is not make a promise that we can't keep. So we want to make sure we keep an eye on things and follow the rules that we have to follow to keep everyone safe. Question about panel seating. B, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So for those who purchased tickets, we do have a Google form that folks can to fill in to let us know whether or not they are requiring any accommodations or accessibilities. If you have mobility aids or if you have a service dog, let us know in advance. We're, like Megan said, wanting to make things as accessible as possible for people. All of our volunteers and staff will be trained. So we'll know, how to proceed. We'll have a protocol. We're a lot of planners in this group. Yeah,
it's true. Yes, single day tickets are available, will be available for Acon.
Yeah.
And I think that's it.
I know somebody had asked, in addition to accessibilities, besides, mobility aids, support dogs and such. We also have our Nurturing Nedley team available. So these are a dedicated group of volunteers who are there. Really, just if you need someone to turn to, chat with, if you have any questions, that kind of thing, right? So they'll be in purple shirts. And then we also have something that was really popular and well received. We're going to have an Earper experience room. I think a lot of people may have taken naps or just went there to chill, make friendship bracelets, write postcards, that kind of thing. We know that conventions can be really overstimulating as well. Right. And after being in lockdown for 19 months, and by the time August rolls around next year, we'll be 2 years in. Right. Some of us, may not be used to being around others. And so really wanting to allow the convention to be as accessible as possible for folks to take care of themselves, really check in to see where their capacity is at. So.
Do we post and hand out a map, or do we have lots of signage? So we are, so you can hear Kaylee off to the side. So we are planning to go paperless this year. Our intention is to have an app. So there will be no physical map. It'll all be inside an app. But there are signs at the con, and that I am responsible for making sure that all works out. So yes, there will be signs and making sure that everything is properly labeled. Again, it's going to be a new space. But the lovely thing is that everything is on all one level, and we kind of have our own area in the hotel. So I'm really excited for everybody to get there and see the space this year.
Yeah. The three of us are actually going to go tour the space the first weekend of November. So really excited to go check that out. If you're not already following us on Twitter, we're at Acon Canada. We're going to be posting some sneak peeks and such.
Oh, that's going to be nice. Making it all feel so much more real, getting a chance to hear from all of you too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how many additional tickets will go on sale? We've sold about 50%.
All of your VIPs almost all of your VIPs are
Yeah.
Almost all our VIPs are gone, is what I'm being told over here. But we have, there's still lots of tickets to come.
Fantastic.
And then I know somebody commented asking if the app will work offline, thinking about roaming data charges. So being guests at Acon Canada, you're actually going to have access to Wi-Fi there. So you won't have to worry about that. And if you're not able to connect, touch base with one of our volunteers or our staff.
Excellent. All right. Well, we greatly appreciate it. It's very helpful. Thank you very much.
Kevin.
Thanks so much.
And great excuse to get Earpers together, right? Super. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a great day, guys.
Take care.
Take care, all. All right. Let's see, a little behind the scenes stuff here. For any of the Earp Con reps, you're certainly welcome to stay here in case we want to pop you in for the remaining part of the event. I do ask, just because of available slots, if each of the cons, I know some of you have multiple people here, if you can just pick one person as a rep to kind of hang around and have the other person drop off, that'll ensure there's enough room for everyone. And you're welcome to leave as well. We run a little long, obviously, but totally in a good way. So much great information in there. We will still do some Q&As here with some fellow Earpers, and probably run a little long if folks have other things to do. We certainly understand. So let me bring on some additional Earpers here to help me out.
All right, why is my picture not there, Kevin?
I'm
looking right here at the camera. Why is the camera not seeing me?
I do not know, Lynn. Is your camera on and have you given it permission? Well,
did we lose Lynn?
See?
All right.
Well, if you can't see me, you can hear me, I guess.
Yes,
Can
we
you
can
hear me?
definitely hear you. We can definitely hear you. So before we move into some fan feedback, Q&A discussion, again, a big, big thank you to all of the con reps who took time away on their Saturday to come on and update us. Yes, big round of applause to the Earpers. And again, all of these folks,
Good job.
ton of time that goes into it. They work so hard for all of us to have a great time. But again, in my experience over the years, very accessible. Feel free to reach out with specific questions to any of them, social media or from the websites, please. And some of them are still hanging around here as well, in case we need to bring them in for something. I'm going to let each of my folks give a quick introduction, just so we kind of know who's who. Why don't you go first, Lynn, since you can't see? We don't see you.
All right. I'm Lynn Rachels. I am a proud Earper, and I'm very glad to be here.
Yay, Lynn! Woo!
Not tech savvy. Sorry.
We would have never guessed.
How about you, Ann?
Hey, I'm Ann. I have a few Earp podcasts, and I'm excited to be here. Thanks for putting this on, Kevin.
You're welcome. Laura.
I'm Laura. I'm a Libra. I like long walks on the beach. Yeah, I host.
Not that kind of hangout, Laura.
Yeah, I realize that. I'm Laura, and I'm an Earpaholic. Is that this meeting? That's this meeting. Okay, I'm in the right.
You're in the right place.
Okay, great. I co-host the Earp Top 5 podcast with Allison, who runs Earp-A-Palooza that you heard from before. She's only allowed to work with Laura's, apparently. There you are, Lynn!
Hey!
Success.
Yeah, and I've been to a few cons, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that anybody might have.
All right, and Rach.
Hi, I'm Rach. I don't know what else to say. I do have a podcast. Recently, we started a podcast. I'm a co-host of a podcast, Late Night at the Homestead. Other than that, I'm just happy to be here. Thank you for having me on, Kevin.
Oh, you're very welcome. I mean, part I wanted to do here is, Lynn and Laura have been to EarpCons before, Ann and Rach have not. So we kind of want to make sure we have some voices in here from, if you will, both sides for any of the questions or topics that have come up, because I think that'll be helpful. And as I said, today we'll probably run maybe another 30-ish minutes or there. And then, as we can tell from the conversations, the feedback on social media, there's no way to cover this topic in just one event. So we'll look at doing some more in the coming months. Be a great excuse to get together and all. So if you are someone who has an idea for a question or a topic, and maybe you're watching this recording days or weeks afterwards, don't hesitate. Reach out on social media. We'll put details in the description here on YouTube, and the recording will be there. So again, it doesn't have to all be covered today. But I know... Ann, talking about Earp podcast, you just did an excellent one. Maybe tell folks real quick about that one, because it leads into a lot of this.
Sure. Myself and co-host Kat Crimmins, we have a podcast called This Earper Life. We just did our second of the bigger episodes covering Earp conventions. My dogs are really excited about it. And we talked with most of the people you see on screen here, and we got tons of stories about conventions of the past and conventions of the future. So check it out. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait to hear more stories.
This Earperlife.com?
Yes.
All right. And that's what I think you'll see in some of these discussions is everybody kind of approaches it differently. So that's, part of where we want to give some different perspectives. So why don't we let our newbies kind of look at this one?
Oh, great question.
You have an answer?
I don't think I'm nervous for anything. I'm more excited just to meet other Earpers. And I know it's like the cast are going to be there too, but for me, it's all about like the Earpers, and I'm so excited. I don't know. I'm not really nervous. I'm not really nervous at all.
Really?
Really?
I'm a wreck. I'm nervous about meeting Kat in real life for the first time.
Okay. I guess then, yeah.
She's a terrible hugger.
I'm
Everybody
sure.
will attest to that.
I'm sure she smells really bad. Totally not like vanilla dip donuts at all, which is what we're all expecting.
More chocolate.
Okay.
Nobody likes chocolate.
And I don't know. I feel like I'm going to be I feel a little overwhelmed too, because there's so many people that like I want to meet, and I feel like I'm going to be like that person on the beach with a brand new puppy who can't walk more than like 2 feet without someone stopping them.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that too, Anne. Now that you brought that up,
It was like, no, I'm just trying to go to the bathroom. Like, I just gotta get to the bathroom and then back into a photo line.
Yeah, and then when you go to the bathroom and at Clexicon and run into Dom, you know, I mean, that happens too. So they're all lovely, 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 lovely people. They really are.
Yes.
Now, for Laura and Lynn, you both are very active on social media and here on the con, on this hangout. You hear lots of advice and things mentioned. Maybe thinking back to when you first started going, what piece of advice helped you the most, or which thing had the biggest impact for you to have the most fun?
Can I tell my story now, Kevin? Can I?
Go for it, Laura.
The fact that both Lynn and Kevin are on this call, and both of them made me cry at my first con. Lynn at the beginning of the con and Kevin at the end of the con, which I touched on this Earper Life podcast. Basically, I was overwhelmed going to it was out of my comfort zone. I don't even know what possessed me to go to my first con, which was Urpalooza 2018. It was probably just the missing out on, because I think Acon had happened and maybe the EarperCon UK had happened, and I was just like, I want to go experience this. So I bought my ticket, I got everything, I was in the hotel lobby on Friday. I had just come in and everything, and I just saw people everywhere, and I was just heading to my room to drop everything, and then I had to go pick up my like ticket and everything like that. Went down and was just looking around and was just getting too overwhelmed. I was going back to my room, and I met Lynn in the hallway going back to my room, because I was going back to my room to just like cry, hide. I don't even know what I was going to do, but I was just completely overwhelmed. And I saw Lynn, and she kind of brought me down from the rafters, number one. Kindly was like, we had a little conversation back and forth. I don't even know if you remember this, Lynn, but we had a conversation back and forth. I kind of spilled a little bit of like what I was feeling. And she just like calmed me down, and she asked if she can give me a hug. And I was like, fuck yeah. Got a Lynn Rachel's hug, which was amazing. And kind of, it really calmed me down for the rest of the weekend. But like, I was pretty near close to tears, like heading to my room until I bumped into her. And I don't know how my weekend would have gone if maybe I didn't bump into her. And then Kevin, at the end of the con on Sunday night, we were like, the panel had just ended, or the goodbye thing had just ended. And I had met him in the beginning, and he was just like, oh, how was it this weekend? And that one question, and it was just like, it was amazing. I couldn't put into words, and I just started tearing up, and, you know, two assholes right there make you cry. Avoid them at all costs. I mean, that's all I could say. And I'm not a crier. I'm a, you know, as everybody would attest on Twitter and everything, I'm a stone cold bitch. Like, I'm not a crier. These two. So, you know, meet them if you dare, I guess, is my advice. And that's not even the answer to the question that was posed, but that's what you get.
So basically, Laura, what you're saying for folks is expect to be emotional.
Correct.
Expect to be emotional. Expect to, like, this is weird for anybody. It's not, I mean, even going to my like 5th con, it was still weird to me to be around people, but you know, you get comfortable quicker, I guess, is to say. You're going to be overwhelmed. It's an overwhelming experience, but you'll end the weekend like the happiest person, well, the happiest for a while, and then you get the con blues afterwards because it's over. But you know, you'll be happy that you had that experience. So anybody that's like questioning, oh, should I go, should I not go, you should go.
Yes, you should go.
Yeah.
What
To
about
that,
you?
I just want to say one more thing to the person that had that question about like if they just like Emily and Kat, should they go anyway? Short answer, yes.
Yes.
Long answer, why aren't you watching the whole show and falling in love with all the other people? That's my thing. Sorry, Lynn, go ahead.
No, I think the biggest thing that I remember is someone said, Lynn, everyone's there for the same reason. And they're there to see the same people as you are. It's not like going to San Diego Comic-Con or one of the big ones where there's so many tracks that you can go to. Dragon Con. There's so many neat shows to experience there, but we have the we have the luck of being able to just zero in on Wynonna Earp. And I've never had a problem talking to anyone. So that was not a big issue for me, but it was true. You can't not have conversations with people because everybody's there for the same reason you are. And everyone is so welcoming and you'll have a blast. I mean, really, if you're having a hard time with it, contact me on Twitter or something and I'll talk I'll help you because I'll make, look me up. I'll be the one with the name tag. I'll be the one with passing out wristbands. Just find me and I'll help you. But yeah, you'll have a blast. I am so, gosh, you just don't know. I am so ready.
And if it's not your thing to be like immersed in like the crowds and everything like that, nobody forces you to do anything you're not comfortable with. You do you. If you just want to hone in on seeing like somebody, like one of the guests, and that's all you're there for, you don't want to mingle with anybody, you don't want to talk to anybody, you do your thing, that's fine too.
Yes.
It is like, it's your own, you make your own fun that weekend, you make your own kind of like what you want to do.
We're a no pressure fandom. I mean, we're all about love and respect and having fun. Just, so, but you do you. Yeah. And if you're having some issues, look me up.
Yeah. As the con rep said too, the welcoming environment and also the helping environment, be it from other attendees or any of the reps from the cons, because yes, there will be lines to be standing in, to go into the panel room or to get an autograph or whatever. We, those of us who are more of the outgoing type will say it's basically a line party. It's whoever you happen to be there with. It's a great chance to make friends. But if you just want to calmly stand there and maybe put your headphones on and not talk to someone, it's not like anyone's going to look at you weird or odd. As Lynn said, it's a very, very welcoming of whatever the part where you get to do you. But you will be spending some time doing that. And again, it was mentioned briefly early, but certainly Laura and Lynn can reinforce this, is since it is going to be probably emotional and excitement, you've got to have a plan to take care of yourself. That's going to mean making sure to get food, staying hydrated, sleeping, even though you're not going to want to. You're going to want to stay up with all the friends you're making and do all that. You have to understand you and make sure that you're taking care of yourself to be able to enjoy these things. The one other bit of Kevin advice, and you folks have probably heard it on podcasts or Whiskey and Donuts or wherever, this weekend, whichever one you're going to, is going to go by in the blink of an eye from the excitement. Be sure to make yourself at some point stop, close your eyes, assuming you're not driving a car, and think about how you feel at that moment, the impact this is having on you. You want to bottle that up and save it because, when you leave on Monday and you got to deal with the rest of the world and Earpers, you're going to want to be able to bring that feeling back. So
Correct.
Enjoy it, but also be sure to pause and appreciate it as you're having these different experiences.
Yeah, not just to plug my own podcast, but Lynn has some really great tips for the post-con blues in the episode we just had, which I was really thankful for, and I think will really resonate with a lot of people too. So thank you for that, Lynn.
You're
really
welcome.
helpful.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's just about savoring the whole weekend. Just enjoying it while it's happening. Take a minute to realize how lucky you are to be there, and then when you get home, relive it all over again. And it's amazing. It's amazing. But yes, it's sad when you have to leave everyone. But I always just look forward to the next one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like summer camp. It's like the weekend away, and then because everybody convenes at the beginning and the end, everybody's convened in the lobby of the hotel that the majority of people are staying at, and you're all just there and you're saying your goodbyes. Some people are like hitching rides together to the airport that are leaving roughly around the same time, and You know, it really is like once the I would say the Thursday and the Monday, that's like Earper time. And the night after, the nights of like the cons, but like, because Thursday people are coming in and Friday too, but I highly recommend people coming in on Thursday, and then like Monday people are leaving, and it's just like you're not rushed to say your goodbyes. You get a chance to kind of do all that and kind of savor it until the end. And then you also have the opportunity, people who have shared their pictures and stuff for the weekend, pictures, videos, things like that. And like you get a chance when you're at the airport to just like scroll through, you know, the hashtag or whatever, and you're just like, oh yeah, that was fun. You know,
we are so lucky to have these cell phones that have these wonderful cameras in them, and don't be afraid to be selfie queen or something, you know. Just take a lot of pictures so you can remind yourself and remember.
I have a couple questions that people wanted me to try to get answers to.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So photo ops. Let's say you get your photo back and you're not happy with it. Your eyes were closed or something like that. Is it just done deal, or do you get try over?
No.
My very first photo op was a Kat and Greg one. And it was Greg's first photo op too, because I get my photo and he's got his eyes closed and like a weird look on his face. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, fuck, man. And then I just went to the guy and I was just like, hi. And he's like, okay, just get back on the line and show them. And that's it. It's fine.
Yeah. I will say from my experience of others who have had similar things happen, the con has made it right. I mean, it's basically, they'll just take another picture and it comes through the little printer machine. So they're really, really good about it.
Yeah, by the time you kind of circle around where the photo op booth is,
it's coming down through the printer.
It's printed and you can get it. And then you could either get another copy printed out right then. Like, let's say you only want, you want to like buy a second print or something because like you look real good in it. Like the cast, meh, but you look real good in it. Or you want one and then you want like to get a second one signed. Like you could do all of that like at the table for the photo op people. That's also it's important to note that's a separate company than who runs the convention. Like it's usually like a third party company. So that's why the photo ops are usually sold separately ahead of time. Whereas like autographs and selfies are sold at the table. That's the kind of commerce that the con handles, whereas the photo ops the photo op company handles.
I will say that one group picture I did, it was Lindsay, myself, and Jill did it with Danny Kine and Mel, and the sign that Lindsay was holding was up in front, kind of in front of my face or something. So we looked at it, we said, guys, this isn't going to work. Can we do it again? And yeah, it was, and the second one was so much better and it was fine. So I think the answer to that is yes, I would think that would be a given.
Lynn gives more concise answers. I blabber on.
I would also say on the photo ops real quick too, I know I had done one, an Earp sister one, and the same way we spoke to Mel and Dom about what we wanted to do. They were game for it. We went to do it. And when they took the picture, the actual photographer, they usually look right down to make sure it doesn't look horrible, if you will, although they're doing hundreds of these. And they quickly said, oh, you were going for like this. I don't think that's quite the angle. Try it again. So sometimes even the photographer can help you before it even gets pre-printed. So no, I've had great experiences with them respecting what the fans want.
Yes.
That's actually a good point that you brought up, Kevin. You don't get much time in a photo op. So like if you have an elaborate kind of thing that you want to set up or something that you have to like talk to, let's say Mel or something that you want to do with her. If you're getting an autograph from her the day before or something like that, you could just say like, hey, tomorrow for our photo op or later for our photo op, this is what I want to do. And I've done that like 2 or 3 times. And right when I've gotten to the front of the photo op line, they've been like, oh yeah, let's go. Like they remembered like my idea or whatever. And they were like game for it. So, and then, yeah, so it happens. So also make sure that the cast member, the guest, is comfortable with what you want to do, or else you're just going to hold up the photo line. So if you have an opportunity, like at their auto table when they're signing something for you, to ask them, hey, would you be comfortable if we do this in my photo op? They'll usually say yes. I would say 9 times out of 10 they're okay with things. They've been okay with all of my crazy stuff. So.
And you had another question?
I did. Let's say somebody gets hurt while they're there. Not like I need an ambulance kind of hurt, but like, basic first aid-y kind of hurt. Do most of the cons have like a first aid area or?
Yes.
Yes. If you reach to any of the volunteers, and there'll be many around with all these lines and so forth, they will be able to direct you to where they have that set up, or certainly the hotel. Since all of these are taking place at hotels, or hotel convention centers obviously have something like that.
That's part of the volunteer kind of application, I guess, for some of the cons. Like they'll ask if you have any kind of like first aid certification or anything like that. And that's so like there's different I guess jobs for a volunteer at the con, and one of them is like security, blah blah blah, and then they'll ask if there are any like first aid people that have first aid, so they'll call you over. They'll call them if they need to.
You'll have more help than you actually need, probably. So if you hurt yourself, so I feel comfortable to say that they will take care of any situation that comes along.
And there's always like, because when Mel had the flu at Urpalooza 2019, there was about, I would say about like 10 people that have some kind of medical training or whatever, going up to her and just be like, you need to like do this, and this, like whatever.
And that child was doing exactly what she wanted to do. So
yeah,
okay.
But like she mentioned, she's like, how many of you are medical professionals? Because, there's so many like giving medical advice for that day. So yeah. And what else you got?
Well, Rachel, you have anything?
Yeah, I just had someone brought this up to me, and I thought it would be a good time to ask it. So like etiquette if you see the cast outside of the con, like just maybe like talk about like, well, obviously people should know, like don't rush up to them and be like, hey, you know what I mean? So like maybe talk a little bit about that, or like how they are, maybe if you do see them outside the con, are they like apt to be like hi or something, you know what I mean?
Oh yes. Yeah. They will definitely speak to you. Basically I would say, and in my cases, I will just say hi guys, how are you? Hi Mel, and if they come towards you and continue to talk to you, then that to me opens the door to have a conversation. I think Greg, when we were at Acon, he sat in the lobby for a really long time and talked to a whole lot of people, but then he went outside to hang out, and I saw him, said, hey, how you doing? And he just started talking. So we had a nice little 10-minute conversation. And so he opened the door for me that I felt like it was okay. But yes, I don't feel like it's appropriate to rush them to have a conversation. But if they initiate it, if they come to you, yes.
Yeah, I would say use common sense.
Yeah.
Which maybe some people don't have. But it's when there's two things when you say outside of the con. Outside of the con can mean like they're going to their hotel room, or because they do stay at the con hotel. I don't know if they're still going to do that, because the thing is that not in a con hotel next year. At least Urpalooza is not. They're in the convention center, but they tend to stay in the same hotel. So it's like, don't follow them back to their room. That's like a no-no. And then also like, I know. Here's a scenario. So I believe last year people found Anna in the hotel gym, and then they were posting to Twitter, Anna's in the hotel gym. And it was like, really guys, like she's just trying to do her workout. It's not really appropriate. So maybe don't do that. And then, yeah, if you see them out, like maybe they happen to go to the same restaurant as you or something like that. You know, you can see them, they might recognize your face, give them a wave. I know there was a group of people that bought the cast dinner because they were all at the same restaurant, and, you know, they foot the bill. So like, it's things like that. Hi, thank you, you know, whatever. It's just, yeah, like I said, use common sense. Don't put it on blast where you might have seen them, because, you know, you don't want people to get bombarded. But then again, I mean, the cast were in the middle of Times Square when they came for New York Comic Con, so it's like.
Kevin, you have anything to add?
Yeah, and you've all commented, it's a respect thing, especially if it's outside of the convention, shall we say, official convention space, you know, for autographs and so forth. You see them, a wave, a smile, a hello. And as Lynn said, if they're moving to something else or this was their quiet time, then let them go about their business. It's a case of respecting it. That means we get a better experience during the con.
Yeah.
And there is a very good possibility that you will run across them in the elevator or walking to and from the event space, or, you know, right outside the hotel or whatever. So it is a good possibility that you will run into them, and just go with the flow, but mainly just be respectful and wave and say hello.
Yeah. If they choose to be, as Laura touched on, and several of them have, spending time in the lobby or a common area of the hotel, then they're obviously open to chatting if they're there and they're talking to folks. If they're moving through that, let them move through. Don't be stopping them. Certainly don't be asking for an autograph or a photo or any of the things that are part of business.
That's a really good question, though. That's a really good question.
Yeah, it's about respecting boundaries and just respecting their like who they are and what they're there for. Like, it's their quote unquote on, or like whatever, if you want to say that, you know, during con hours. Like any time after that is like their personal time, and you're intruding on their personal time. Hi.
Hey.
Another question.
I did want to say, you know, Laura's making like some strange sense that I'm not quite used to yet, and it's throwing me off my game a little bit. But you know, it's a much bigger deal, because there are going to be some rogues out there who don't understand boundaries. And I know that the excitement from being cooped up for so long and being away from in-person cons for so long, people are likely going to lose their damn minds for a few minutes here and there. And one of the things that I do want to be kind of a mom, kind of clear about, is that at least for us, we're not going to tolerate a lot of that nonsense. We're not going to put up with somebody making the guests feel uncomfortable. And I'm not trying to be dicky about it, but if you're making a guest feel uncomfortable, or if you're fall down drunk, or, you know, stoned out of your brains and acting the fool, we're going to have to kind of pull you aside and have a word about it. So as friendly and as welcoming as we are, and as tolerant as we are of a lot of stuff, if you start to make other people feel uncomfortable, and you start to make people sort of cut a wide berth when they see you coming, then it's going to have to be first a conversation, and then maybe it's time for you to take this somewhere. Well, you know, and a lot of the guests do have the right to say, last time they grabbed my ass, so I'm not kind of cool with that. You know, so
that was one time. No.
Well, I'm saying, you know, now we gotta keep eyes on you every time. It's always you.
It is. I'm a menace.
But that's right. So that's one of the big things that that's where we have to be more professional than we probably are on Twitter from time to time. But you know, that's one of the places that at least we are going to draw the line is, you know, I would love to say common sense. I would love to say, but as Laura said earlier, some people need a reminder, a little flick in the ear. My mother used to grab us behind the arm in a restaurant. She didn't make a scene in public, but man, oh man. So that's where EDE is going to draw the line, is if you start to make people comfortable, then we're going to have a conversation, and that's not who we want to be, but in the event that.
Yeah.
So.
Very good. Now we
So
only
Laura, come on. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
we only have a couple more minutes today. And again, that's why we're definitely got to do some more hangouts. But one thing to touch on, I think, real quick, because it ties into it, and it was mentioned by some of the con reps, but it needs to be reinforced for those, especially the newbies who haven't been to a con yet. The photo ops, when you do get to the front of the line, it's your time for a photo op, is not a time to talk to the guests, to have a conversation. They move them through quickly because of volume. Certainly be polite and all, but it's not a time to start a discussion of your favorite episode or something you want to tell them, because that's the nature of the photo ops. When you're getting an autograph, you've got a couple of quick minutes that you might be able to talk very briefly with the guests. But again, it's not a time to go into well, I remember when ... That amount of time beyond a couple of quick minutes is where you have to look at doing things like the meet and greets and some of the other additional items that are available. Because there were lots of questions about how many minutes will I have with them to get the autograph. And I can just share, even outside of the Earp cons, at a place like Dragon Con with, over 100 celebrity guests, the line for Earp guests were the longest.
Yes.
Maybe not because they're the most popular, like big name celebrities, but because our cast will take the time naturally with people. They won't rush you through. So do realize it's not going to be, like I have seen, with all due respect to some nice guests at other cons, nothing more than the blink of an eye and handing you back the photo and you're out. So do respect them that same way there, that a little hello and a discussion of the photo and why you want it personalized is fine, but just don't abuse that opportunity too. And we can certainly talk this a little more, because I do see several questions in the chat about that. But in sequence, the least amount at a photo op, maybe a little more at an autograph, but real conversations are going to have to happen at additional other events.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
to your point, Kevin, just really quick.
Sure.
There's not, they don't put a timer on you either, because I can talk. I don't know if anybody has noticed that. But other people don't. They just whether it's nerves or whatever, they'll just go up there, hi, get their thing signed and walk away. So they're there for 5 seconds, where I can be there for a minute or something, telling a story because I brought them, something, or I wanted to say something about a gift or whatever. And so that's why it's not timed per person, but on average, they have a block of time. And they need to, and that's the time that they have to give to everybody. So you will get okay, wrap it up if you're there for too long, but it kind of balances out with other people that maybe don't talk as much than the people that do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Well, again, just to kind of wrap up, a big thank you to, my fellow Earpers here who jumped on to help out. I'm sure we can look at doing some additional ones. So start thinking about
Kevin, I'm always ready.
I know I can count on that, Lynn. So that we can have fun and learn some more leading into the cons next year. And a big thank you again to Buffalo and all the reps from the cons for being a part of it.
It was awesome.
We'll look to do some things. So do keep those thoughts there. Feel free to share this video. It'll be up on YouTube. Ann's podcast on this Earper Life, very valuable and helpful info. And your fellow con goers, don't hesitate to reach out and talk about it on Twitter as well. Lots of opportunities to learn and get more comfortable. And it's a process.
What is that Twitter thing you're talking about there, Kevin? I don't quite know what it is.
Might have had some impact on us keeping this shit show on the air for as long as it's been on.
Is that the place where Emily always deletes stuff on? That's the one?
It's where it happens for sure.
Yeah, like Kevin was saying, I mean, you got a little bit from the podcast that Ann did.
Awesome.
You got a little bit from the reps on this with some questions. And if any other questions come up, schedule, nothing that the con can't answer, because they can answer for their individual things, but personal schedules. Like, how do you keep yourself from going to point A to point B or things like that? Like when to buy stuff, when to do things. Those are kind of questions maybe to think about, to ask for the next round if we wind up doing something like this. Like what to bring, what to do, what you can have to kind of busy your time while you wait on things. Stuff like that. Those are kind of good questions to ask and have for next time.
I put in the comments too, something that I found kind of fun was just Bo Smith's son, Dana, was going around a con just filming like people in lines and, what kind of happens and things. Because a lot of times we see the panels on YouTube, but we don't see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So that was kind of fun. And he's just Dana from C-K. So if you go on YouTube, there's some fun, just to get an idea of like what the lay of the land kind of looks like besides just the panels.
Yes.
And we'll do our best too, and I'll lean on Anne's help there to put some links to these things in our description here on YouTube within the next 24 hours or so. So along with the link to this Earper Life podcast. So you can go immersive, folks, and make it valuable for you. So again, thank you to all of you who are here on video and all that came on video and all of you in the chat who attended. Again, this is what makes Earp so special. We do greatly appreciate it. And we will sign off and say thank you. Take care.
Have
Bye.
a great weekend, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, gang.